based on your age, the area you live in, and the cost of the car, price of the car. It depends on if you're 21 years old and you want to get a Mustang and you're single and you're a male, guess what? You might not be able to afford the insurance. See? Or, and it's going to be high because you're at the high risk level. A young man under 25 want a sports car and live in an area where you have a lot of wrecks. And insurance company might even, cause I never forget this, as long as I live. When I bought a Trans Am when I came back from Germany. I was looking at the cars and I was trying to get insurance, so I didn't have any. So I went down to Sears. Sears back then, they owned Allstate. Allstate, they used to own them. And they used to have an Allstate office in the Sears. In the Augusta, it was at the basement. I was at Fort Gordon at the time. So I walked in, hey, sir, I want to insure my car. Oh, yeah, let me get the book. Because back then they had to open the book. They didn't, no internet now. He went and got the book, and he said, what kind of car you got? I said, Pontiac. He said, look, Pontiac. And then I said, Trans Am, 6.6 liters. And he looked at me and said, how old you are? I said, what, 21? He knew what he did? He closed that book as fast as he opened it. He said, man, we can't insure you. You were risky. I said, well, I ain't never had no wreck. It don't matter. We ain't gonna do it. Because you are single, you're 21. He didn't say this, but I knew that was part of it too. And don't get no offense to people on Facebook, because they're just life, And, he said around here, we have cars getting stolen, even though the zip code wasn't that bad, but I never forget, that hurt my feelings. I walked off. So I had to go to an independent insurance agent. Anybody ever use an independent insurance agent? And they can go out and look for different companies to see who can insure you. And I got insurance, but I had to pay for it though. Woo. So anybody ever had it happen to them? They got turned down for the insurance because whatever. And if you got a bad driving record, they may turn you down too. So it just depends on what it is. But I never forget that as long as I live. He said, well, you need to go you need to get you another car. You need to find something else. And I didn't. So I just paid for it. But I just learned them from that experience. And I don't know if I ended up getting them. I can't remember what in the end. I know at the end, when I left to go to Washington D.C., I had an independent insurance. I forgot what happened in between that. Because back then, when you moved, you couldn't carry the insurance from the state you was in because of what happened during the Depression. The government was keeping everything within the state, so you couldn't. So every time I would move, I would have to get new insurance until the rules changed. Now, if you got any questions, you can always jump in, no problem. So you want to know the rate beforehand because that make a difference whether you get that type of car. Because you might be a high risk car. See, so you got to know all that. It could be a regular car, but maybe if that car, one time Honda's was having a hard time getting insurance because they were stealing the parts. The parts was hard to get, so people was ripping the cars off, taking the parts. It wasn't like no Honda Accord. It wasn't a big deal because it was a racy car, but the parts was so in demand that people go around and take the parts off the car, and they'll sell them. So that mean that the insurance company had to jack the rate up because the cars was being cannibalized basically. Just for a Honda Accord. So that could be a problem too. Well, you won't know that till you talk to the insurance agent and you find out. So that means you may have to adjust the type of car you want to buy based on that. Because you don't make no sense looking for the car if two things don't happen. Either your insurance rate is going to be higher than what you expect, or they may not insure it at all, like in the case with me. Or because of the area you live in, it might be a high-risk car because of whatever reason. Now, insurance companies consider the make model of a car, page 6, when deciding on a premium. Vehicles are rated based on the cost, safety, and driving record, and theft history, and your zip code. I don't know if 30901 got a higher rate than 30906. But if you got, I'm sure 30901 got a lot more stuff going on in it. So it may, if you say 30901, it may be a higher rate. Who knows? Because I know when I left Virginia to come here, and I was called USA, I wanted to change the cars to Evans, Georgia. And he said, okay. So he looked. He said, well, your insurance gonna go up. I said, why? He said, it's not Evans, Georgia particularly. It's the Augusta area, period. There's a lot of vehicles being stolen, a lot of vehicles being cannibalized, and there's a lot of wrecks. So my insurance went up probably like 15% because I was moving from Virginia to here. So, but I couldn't do anything about it. I didn't have a bad driving record. It's just the way it was. So that's when I first realized that movement sometimes make you stuff up. But I had no choice, but then the car, we had 2 cars that was paid for, so it wouldn't have been as bad as if, the cars were newer. It would have been higher than that.
What about the color of a car? Do that change the price?
They always say red cars tend to cost more insurance. I don't know why.
Price.
Why is that?
The price and the insurance, it affected the color.
Yeah. If it's red, yeah, I heard that. How many people heard that before? Yep. They say red cars make you want to drive faster. No, is that true? Is that true? So, if you get a red car, now see, if you get a white car, it'll be cheaper because white is not in high demand. And for some reason, a white car is cheaper than a red car. And then I think the next higher car is black. So, I mean, they use the color too. Yeah. Step 3, notify the insurance company you're purchasing before you drive the car off the lot. You got to make sure you got insurance already, hand. So when you go look at the car, then you go get your insurance once you've married down. Now, some companies will cover your new vehicle under the current policy for up to 30 days. But you got to talk to your insurance company about that. Have them fax you the insurance cards or email insurance cards immediately so you can have coverage. Because right now, they can fax, I should say even text. They can text your insurance cards to you, or you go to the website and you can just print it right from your phone if you got a printer at home. But a lot of people don't have printers anymore, so I don't know. You may have to wait till the mail comes, or they send it overnight. Another way to receive lower rates and insure multiple cars with the same company. Selecting the same company to carry both your auto and home insurance will also lower your overall cost. So the more you have with one company, like cars, home insurance, whatever. If you rent the house, rental insurance, you'll get the coverage for multiple things. It'll make your price go down. And step number 5, keep your credit history clean. Having a high credit score can lower your auto insurance rates, and it'll lower your interest rate. So when they calculate the risk, your credit score is usually a pretty fair indicator because it's going to let them know. See, credit scores will tell on people because a lot of people, it's not fair, but they think if you're not paying your bills, you're at risk. So that's not fair in a sense. But, and that's why if your credit score is not, if it's average, then your rate is not going to be as good as it's excellent because you consider it a minimum risk. Now, most insurance will pull your credit report and use the information to help determine your car rate. Oh, they're going to pull your credit report. They're going to ask enough information to get it. They're going to pull their credit report. They're going to look at that zip code. They're going to look at how old you are. They're going to look at what color the car is. They're going to look at what type of car it is, how much it costs if you got tow up. All that plays a factor. And then they give you a premium, which is normally set 6 months divided by whatever it is, and then if you pay every month. Question 3, when do you only need liability coverage in your car? I already gave you the answer for that, but when you what? When the car is paid off and it's getting old, and when you start looking at what it's worth. Anytime your car is worth less than $5,000, you want to start looking at that. Not saying that you got to get rid of it, but if you get a bill, I took my car somewhere, I can't remember, and the guy, I was looking in the bay, a guy had a Ford Ranger in there, and the engine was missing. I said, what you gonna do with that? He said, well, the guy wanted the engine replaced. I said, but the engine going to cost more than it worth. He said, he don't care. He loved that car, that truck, and he wanted it replaced. It was nostalgic to him. But that was his call. He can afford it. He didn't care what the Ford Ranger. The Ford Ranger is a small truck anyway. But he wanted to keep the truck because he just wanted to. So he was going to pay for the engine. They was going to get a new one, a rebuilt engine, stick it in there. But I guarantee you the engine probably cost more than that car was worth. Just by looking at it, I could tell it would have. But he wanted to keep it. That's his call, though. Discussion 3, we're going to do 2 other biblical scriptures. Ecclesiastes 5:5, King James Version says, better not to vow or make a promise than to vow and not pay. In other words, don't go down there without doing your homework for. Don't try to make a vow on something that you can't meet, because that's why you got to be very important that you can be able to afford what you're going to get, and not you determine your own affordability. Because I guarantee you that finance people, they'll give you, if those numbers come out right, they're going to try to max you out with what you can get. So then you got to determine, man, I can get this car, but do I really need that price and paying these payments? And then if something happens, then you might not be able to pay it back. So you got to look at all of that. Proverbs 20:24, the Lord directs a person's steps. All right, so like I said, the Lord can direct our steps in anything, not just from a spiritual standpoint, because we live in a natural world, so we should be able to pray about stuff and ask God to give us what? Guidance. Anything we do. We should just, everything don't have to be spiritual all the time. It could be just normal things you do in your life. You want him to guide you through your steps. So how can anyone understand their own way? Because sometimes you may not see it your own way. Sometimes you have to, if the Lord may show you a different way, he may open your eye. You prayed about it and you see, oh yeah. And see, you may not see that because you're trying to do everything from a natural standpoint. So we should pray about, especially major purchases. We should always pray. Me and Renee stood on that land that we got a house on. I never forget it, as long as I live. She was at the bottom of it. I can see her teeth. Renee, when she smiled, you can see all her teeth. And she was just smiling away, and she said, I want this lot. Big old teeth, white teeth way up at the top. I said, you want it? She said, yep. I said, okay. So we prayed about it, and we got it. Now, we prayed about it not only, because we got the price off, because, it was too much, in my opinion. So we got it at a good price, and we knew we couldn't afford it anyway, but I didn't want to pay that price for that lot. But God made a rate, wait 2 days later for us to buy that lot. Because that lot wasn't even for sale. Because the developer had just built that road where my house was. There were no houses up there, and it was in January. And they said that the builders would get first shot at all the lots between January and April. So I told that real estate agent, I said, look, I want that lot. Put my name down first when they start giving it to everybody else, for the regular buyers. 2 days later, she called me. The developer said, you can offer only now if you want to. I said, I thought you said it's going to be April. It's still January. She said, I don't know. He just called me and said, if they want it, they can buy it right now. Now, we prayed about it, and what happened? Boom. Then I didn't pay the price that he said make an offer. I made an offer and they took it. Man, I should have made it lower. But it was too late. But my point is, you see, when you pray about something and you claim, we basically claim that lot. I never get that. And I know Renee wanted that lot so bad. She wanted more than I did, but I knew I was trying to please her too. And I was just trying to make the numbers work, and we did. And that's what God do. He try to give you what you want, but sometimes he just wants you to ask him about it. That's all. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So in summary, it's very important that we know how to buy and insure a car in order to get the best deal and coverage. Buying a car can be good experience or a bad experience. Has anybody had a bad experience with buying a car? You feel like you got ripped off when you left? Or you bought a lemon and then it tore up on you 6 months later?
Many times.
That happened to you before? Yeah. But see, most used cars got that service. That's why I say it's best to buy a used car, in my opinion, from a dealer, because they'll go through that certified process, make sure the car got, brake. I understand used car lots are bad, but you don't know what you're going to get. And don't know, depends on the person that owns it. Remember your faith plus financial wisdom. plus financial stewardship equals your what? Prosperity. That never fails. I believe in that. That's my own personal saying. I don't have a biblical scripture to quote it, but that's just me. I believe in that. All right, anybody got any questions? If not, we're gonna. See, I finished 15 minutes early. See? No, I finished on time. I'm sorry. I supposed to finish at 8:15 anyway, but I've been going to 8:30. I forgot. All right. Well, he's gonna take up the offering, and we're gonna pray. And now you take this home. You know somebody, or you want to buy a car, or you want to help, one of your younger relatives. Give this to them and let them read it. Then when they at least they'll get a start on what they can do. Because some people they never bought a car before. They don't really know how to do it. And if you bought a car before, that don't mean you thought about all this stuff I put in this handout.
But I've heard people, and I'm kind of thinking like that myself too now. Last, I guess, 20 years, I wouldn't buy a brand new car. Well, I won't say I wouldn't. But because you done heard where they say about a brand new car, it evaluates, the second you drive it off the lot.
Yeah, it's going right.
So.
And car models don't change that much. You can't tell what year a car is anymore now. Tell me, you can take a Dodge Charger like the car Brother Tony got and line them up, and you tell me what year they are. Can you tell what year they are, Brother Tony? A Dodge Charger? Okay, well, see, I can't tell. They all look the same to me. I know they're a little bit different, but they got that muscle look. And as long as that thing is selling, they ain't going to change that thing that much. They may have, the technology will be updated inside. But that body style, you can't really tell. Anybody else got a question or comment or experience? All right, we're going to pray. You'll let Brother say your prayers out.
Thank you for the thank Father God. Thank you for the best of the thank Father God. Father God, that you see on that Father God. Father God, thank you for the song, Father God. And you got the little kingdom, Father God. And Father God, we need to place, Father God, and aggregate everyone. All right, we got a bunch of hamburgers back there. I think they gave me more